We're going to make these triangles into hexagons, so this is pretty fun. You might have two different kinds of triangle designs. One might have nothing touching the edges like this, and then you might have another design where you have things that are touching the edges there. So you're going to treat each one differently. Let's start with this one where you have nothing touching the edges. A quick way to just copy your triangles is let's go to the Artboard tool. And I may as well just select all of these artboards. So I'm pressing Shift, click. Remember, Shift means add. You're adding to your selection. And I'm going to copy these by just pressing down Option or Alt on a PC, and I'm clicking and dragging. I could drag it anywhere. If I press Shift at the same time, it's going to drag it directly underneath. So now I have a copy of all of those. I'm going to drag them a little farther down so I have a little more room. Now let's go to the Move tool. And I might actually go back into the Artboard tool and move some stuff around. I'm just going to move these artboards out of the way. I'm going to take this artboard and I'm going to make it larger just so I have more space to work. And I'm going to go back on the Move tool. So to change the size of your artboards, you have to use the Artboard tool, which is right there. I'm going to select this triangle. We need to group it, so Object, it's already grouped. If it's not already grouped, just do Object Group, which is Command G or Control G. Okay, so let's get this to where we can rotate it now. The first step is to select everything, and I suggest that you go into View, have Smart Guides on, turn all of these off. Turn off Snap to Point, Snap to Grid, Snap to Pixel, and Show Grid. That kind of affects where you're clicking, and we want to be able to click directly on the anchor point. So if any of these are checked, make sure they're unchecked. Uncheck them all. Now we do need to have Smart Guides needs to be on. Smart Guides allows you to read the label of where, right? It says path, it says anchor point. We need to be able to know where we're clicking. Get the Rotate tool, which is R. The Rotate tool, if I click here, that's the center point at which I am rotating. So now I can rotate from there. If I click in the middle of my object, now I can rotate that around. So that's what the Rotate tool does. There's two steps. First, where are you rotating from, and then you rotate. So we need to use the Rotate tool, but we need to make sure that we are rotating from this top anchor point, and that is the axis point of where the triangle rotates. This is why you need to have your Smart Guides on and everything unclicked. So click on, make sure it says anchor, click there. If I just click and drag, I'm just rotating. So what I want to do is press Option or Alt on a PC, and now I'm not just rotating, but I'm also copying at the same time. And now that I did one, all I have to do is press Command D, as in dog, and it copies that exact same rotation around. Now I have a hexagon, and I can take the whole thing and group that together. We have a bit of an issue with this artboard because we have some stuff. I'm taking the move tool, I'm going to move this down. But for this triangle, this is on the edge and so is that. So what we're going to do is we're going to reflect and then rotate. If you click and hold on the rotate tool, you get the reflect tool. This works the same way. It's just, instead of rotating, it's taking it and flipping it horizontally. There's again 2 steps. We need to click on the top anchor point, press Option or Alt. Notice how the mouse turns from black to black and white, which means you're making a copy. And try to get it as close as you can without overlapping. And it's really tricky, and try really hard, because if there's a little gap there, it's going to show up in your hexagon and it's not going to look good. So we did a reflect. Now let's try Command D. Notice how Command D is just going back and forth. So let's go back in time. Command X to undo. I'm going to redo that reflect. Now I'm going to take the move tool. I'm going to select these two. Now that these two are selected, I can go back to the rotate tool, and I want to rotate both of those around. So the first step, I need to go from the center point, make sure it says anchor, click once, that's my axis point, and press Option and click and drag to get your clicking and dragging to both copy and rotate at the same time. Once you do it one time, you can press Command D. Command D is going to repeat that action, and I only have to do it one more time because I already had 2. There's a little gap here. If that happens, try again with, so undo, Command Z. Try rotating one more time, and it could just be that you really have to make sure that that is in place, and then try again. So it might take a few tries. Another thing you can do is cheat a little bit and make a, if it's being really annoying and you really can't, yeah, I am also on a trackpad right now. I don't have a mouse or a Wacom with me, so it's a little bit harder. We can hide that issue by making the right size hexagon. I'm going to fill this with my brown. I'm going to put it, Object, Arrange, Send to the back, and we're going to make it, press Shift when you change the size so that it stays proportional, and you can kind of adjust things a little bit so they kind of work inside there. These look a little strange, these like double star things, so you might decide I don't really care for that actually, and I just want to use this one instead. We can make that bigger, like the design, how the design was, but I still want to stay true to my hexagon So I'm going to take this, take the rotate tool. I need to rotate not from this center, but from the center of this point. Option to copy, click and drag to rotate. And I'm going to press Command D to do that again. You'll notice there's some weird stuff going on. There's the triangle is on top of that, which is why it looks that way. I'm going to select this star thing and this star, and we're going to arrange. Object, arrange, bring to the front. So once you have your hexagon, you can decide that you want to alter some things in it. Say I want to alter the rotation of some of these orange things. Everything's grouped. I need to ungroup it. Object, ungroup. I'm going to take one. All this is grouped, so let's do again. Object, ungroup. The triangles all grouped together. So take this guy. Let's do edit. Actually, object, transform. We want to reflect it. We want to reflect it vertically. Let's get a preview so we can know what's happening before it happens. I could even, do something like that. And it makes sense to do 2 at a time. So all the ones that you want to change, I would change them all at the same time so that they're all consistent with each other. So say I want this one, and this one to both be changed the same exact way. Object, transform, reflect, and now I can't see preview. Okay, let's just try vertical, and we'll say okay. So they both flipped. This one's upside down, so it's going to flip differently. Okay, so that's how you can kind of alter something once you make the hexagon. Once you make the hexagon, you can say, you're not stuck with it, right? You can always do stuff to it. I want to add a little thing in there. I'm going to take this circle, select it, press Option or Alt. I'm going to put it in the very center. Object, arrange, bring to front. I want the color to be the same as this orange. I'm going to get the eyedropper tool. We're going to fill it with that orange. Now that's in the center. And then I'll do the same for this. Take the Artboard tool, make it larger so I have space. I'm going to select this guy. We're going to reflect it first. Option, click and drag to copy. Now I can select both of them. Rotate tool. I have to click on the anchor point in the middle. Option, click or Alt on a PC, click and drag. Ooh, we're missing this point, so make sure you select everything. Rotate anchor point. It's good to zoom out so you have some room, and you can kind of see if snapping to point will help you. This actually looks pretty interesting, and I don't necessarily want to change anything in the design. I might want to have a background of this pink to hide